the air. But again, for me, it is truly an honor to be here moderating this fireside chat as part of Indepay X Indosat, right? Let's take that. I'm Tom Salim, and I just want to clarify that there isn't actually any fire here on stage, because that would be a hazard to us all. So I'm still sure that this conversation that we'll have will be, about a hot topic. So it's a great honor for me to be here. So tonight we are just celebrating a milestone that Indepay has achieved. What is it now? Perhaps 13 is me. We're also exploring the transformative potential of digital payments in Indonesia. So let me set the stage a bit for our friend. We have already heard for Rajiv that Indepay's journey culminating in today's March. Indosat Rido Hutchison is a game changer. I would frankly say zero fee, security, and of course, there are rewarding payments, and all of these are very ambitious things to play. But here we are turning that into free. So now we won't do with the introduction. So we've already did that. But next to me we have our Director and Chief Commercial Officer of Indosat Rido Hutchison. So welcome. And of course, our host for the night today, Mr. Rajiv Saz, Joey of UPA. So over the next hour or so, I think we'll discuss, the journey, challenges, the opportunities for digital payments in Indonesia, and I think we'll stay about 15 minutes at the end for any questions that the audience. So without further ado, let's get into the discussion. First of all, I'd like to address questions to Rajiv. First of all, congratulations once again for achieving the mass. First question I think I have here on my list is, you would really like to hear the vision that you have that has driven, this year and what it means for your team. Yes.
As I just mentioned earlier, that the journey started many years back when I was invited to this country by ECA Danu to actually build up the financial inclusion initiative in this market. When we actually started this program with support from DI and Logika, we actually got the tool from both DI and Logika. What you realize that consumer does not really know the bank. They actually don't know that with a banking application, you can actually do financial inclusion. But if you actually look at the social media, everybody uses social media here. Today we are using WhatsApp, we are using Line, we are using TikTok. But even before that, the country was using BBM. Actually, BBM was actually very advanced as a program. In fact, the BBM IT was bought over by Patrick. So BBM was in actually love with leadership. So we always thought social media is the way forward to make financial inclusion habit. But we actually worked with the journey almost 6-7 years. Amar and we actually worked in this year very long to make that happen. Definitely Ojeta, they have supported us. But over a period of time, we realized that this is not a program one man can do two. All the banks need to come together to make this happen. That's the time we decided to really build up another platform. And we actually worked towards open banking demonetary guidance of BI. Here those days, never mobile hand the demonetary guidance in the from here. With that platform, and also the world situation had changed, in everywhere, because in open banking guidance has built up a lot of success stories. You can see success story in the US, you can see success story in Europe, you can see success stories close book in India with UPI. And we realized that this is the solution for Indonesia to adopt. With that program, we have been very lucky. And you can see, most of the river are here in the room. right? So they are in supporting us to take the journey forward. So with this, one is happy to be very lucky. I actually bumped into Ritesh almost like 2 years back. Ritesh actually got everybody in the room, almost like 40 of your colleagues. They all actually said that they actually made it happen. That's the way the journey started, and today I'm so lucky to have you guys in front of me, the set of believers, and that's the reason I believe that with Indosat front, which actually reaches to almost like 40 billion people of this country, out of with us, like 60% of their probably digitized, 60% we can add, and 90% of it digitized. We can actually make that story go to the masses. That's the reason good. Thank you.
I actually want to ask a follow-up question to that, just to share with the audience here, because as we know, digital penetration is huge in Indonesia. The literacy, financial literacy doesn't necessarily buy with it. What do you think are the specific ways this actually can benefit, and businesses the coming years is kind of set up to mean that it front. Would you like to answer that?
Thanks for asking this question. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope all of you are doing good here. Okay, Sunaki, can you something about love of telecom industry, financial sector? Anything and everything which you are going to do in this world is require connectivity, right? So as a telco, you feel more responsibility to connect every Indonesian at first place. And that's where the financial inclusion and difficult inclusion starts. I bought a maid. She's getting around 5 million rupiah every month. And out of 5 million rupiah, she gives only 11 common rupiah. And she sends back 4700 rupiah paid up. Now what she does, she goes out to earn retail outlet. She deposits the money or transfer the money using a rate. And somebody at her home collect the money by paying some fee. For example, she's transferring 1 million rupiah. A regular mind sheet for cash out of around 10,000 to 25,000 rupiah. Is he supposed to pay that high fee? Answer is no. You might be a link who charges around 3,000 rupiah fee, but any retailer, if you go in the market, will be fine charging somewhere the not money. What a bit about banking? As Raji was saying, people are digitally literate, and you are also saying, people are digitally literate, but financially literate or not, they don't know. Because people, either they are literate, but they do not have option. This country has got 168 million TikTok users, but have only 50% of people back. So, what we are supposed to do as a digital company, we have to make sure that each and every Indonesian are aware of those services where they are not supposed to pay more than 3,000 rupiah for waiting the cash. How many of you have been at Car Free Day? You know Car Free Day? All of you go there. If you want to buy a Aqua bottle, you pay 3,000 rupiah, right? 8,500 is not tax. The same bottle, you go to Alpha Mart, Eto Mart, you may end up paying 5,000 rupiah. The same brand of bottle with the same content in branch market, you pay 10,000 rupiah. Now, what is the connection of this? Because people are not aware of their rights. People are not aware that, people, retailers can decide the price of their own. So with this digital connectivity, what we want to do as a company to provide digital literacy program, each and every Indonesian, how to use internet safely, how to get the information, and how they can ensure that they are not supposed to pay more amount of money. And that's where we started this journey. Why I said yes to Rajiv. So was one thing that this example of PineMate was coming to my mind. Can I provide a system where customers are not supposed to pay more than what we are required to fix. They were charging constantly. So that was the starting point number one. Number two, we have to develop that ecosystem at deep rural Indonesia also, wherein cash out is available and cash is available with that retailer often very easily. And where DataSat comes into picture, you have about 270,000 retail doctors in Laos, Indonesia, and everybody needs pulsa and pocket, right? Everybody is connectivity. So there are four basic needs in this world: food, core, and shaker and pani mobiles. Correct? So if 270,000 outlets, people can go there and get the recharge. It is a digital system, digital recharges. Why can't they use initial services? So that's where these can complement each other. And that's where we thought maybe if you can empower Indonesian by giving more financial inclusion, that's going to be important. And most important thing is not only fee. If people mobile number just connect people to bank account, think about that. So we claim around the top operator there, they claim 150 million base. We also claim 100 million base. The third operator also claims around 70-80 million base. So Indonesia is 340 million SIM cards, not disabled the customer. Correct? So those customers, if we can convert all mobile number into bank and followed by our digital literacy program, just imagine the power of this knowledge. And another thing, we have got financial inclusion and we have got product which launched on and many people who do not have normal packing. So they do not have carry credit scoring. So using our telco credit scoring, we are giving loans every Indonesian to start their volume shop. They just need $300 to $400 to start a volume shop at $500. So we have been able to do that. With this partnership, we expect that each and every Indonesian will be able to include them financially. That's where our responsibilities are.
Yeah, well, that's so. I mean, you're leveraging your networks, obviously, and it's all something that we've been looking for actually years now with the disruptions. So I want to kind of go back to how crucial to using partnerships like this, like given the solutions that you're offering, the adoption. I said that we spoke about earlier, right? And now the first day this contract out, it's just the start of stage to come, right? If we're looking at adoption, you have to look at bigger picture. What are your thoughts on that? Like how crucial that for you?
I think we have a startup company, right? So resources are very, very limited. When we actually started this whole company way back in 2020, funded by one of those most respected investors in the region, we thought that it can change the world. It can do anything and anything possible. We started doing multi-dimensional product developing. Over a period of time, we realized that I think Tata can only stay alive if they focus on only one thing and make that thing happen. So what we did in the last few years, we dropped everything from our teaching. Just focus on one partnership. And in the meantime, we have been very lucky that banks sitting over here trusted us. We had all the banks part of the network. And now with Indosat customer, the objective is to convert, why not like 10 million of Indosat customers are actually become like a bank account. That we would transform Indonesia in big way. That's our spices for success. Okay.
Thank you. I think coming back to that, as Indosat, you've been basically a leading company in this space. What are the unique opportunities you think that Indonesia as a country, as a market that has offers for fintech startups like Indepay?
Yeah, very good question. So again, I go back to one thing. So we are here for consumers, right? So there are two options. One is if you empower Indonesia and if you empower any customers, the money will come back to us. So this will come to the ecosystem. Every Wado, if you see, they are selling noodles boodles they buy at 2,500 will plus sometimes cash said it put to some table pride on that. He can charge with of the bootia, right? If we got room and deploy 2 or 3 employees, one person for taking up and everything. So that means if you are having 20 million small business units wherein people can actually deploy 2 to 3 more night power, that means was embody 60 million innovation. That's how we look at things. And when 60 million laboratories are getting some money, then the economy will go up. But that economy will go up, I think we are 1/3 of the market. So we will also get our share at least 1/3, that fair share. With Indepay, if we can help this partnership for the betterment of the consumer. So one is consumer is right, number one. Number two, if I can convert all the mobile numbers into bank account, then customer ID likely they will stay with us because nobody is looking for mobile number apart from a data service. But all of us will have one mobile number where it OTP will receive from bank. So anything related to financial services, people have got more stickiness to that product. So one, we are helping consumers. Second, they are helping ourselves also by providing us a secure place where if people are attaching their mobile number to financial services, a customer will be highly likely to keep that number for a longer period of time. And the more we do that, the more we be able to help to those. I think everybody keeps on talking about you. We are here, we empower in relation. We cannot empower in relation unless we empower ourselves first. So that's where we take on a picture, and that's where I can this kind of partnership can tell both of us.
Thank you. So, again, it is a matter of adoption. I think that it's fair that these partnerships come into fruition because we're all trying to find to solve a problem option. So actually, I have a question to zero fee. That's the payment model that espouse the pay. What do you think makes this approach sustainable for in the long run, especially how competitive this space?
Thank you. Very, very good question, actually. Thank you. When I actually ended up in Indonesia way back in 2011, when something very peculiar actually experienced here. Because customer getting charged 6,500 rupiah for every single transfer in payment they do between banks. This is actually not the ADYS. So it's a very different thing. It has a reason behind this. Because Indonesia is quite distributed across 18,000 agents. Cost of cash management is very high. ATM network need to be supported by a very expensive infrastructure. But it's impossible for the bank to distinguish transaction between cash, e-ATM, and digital. So all the transactions between banks are charged 6,500 or sometimes 7,500 because there's infrastructure they use to do this. In some countries, maybe like fraction of the cost to vary if you are doing similar infrastructure in those markets. If you just look into a model where digital infrastructure is deployed in each and every bank, basically you don't really need funds to transfer the money between bank to bank. So what you're actually doing there is actually 2021, when the Central Bank of Indonesia, Bank Indonesia came out with this EU guidelines of open banking, everything will open up for us. So using open banking guidelines, we actually can put infrastructure in each and every bank so that there is no interbank transfer is deployed. So that way, you don't need to really in charging the customer tax fee, but you can actually charge the merchant to collect the money. That's very obvious. So the model is 100% sustainable because that will be charged our merchant, the businesses, because they can always pay a fraction, very small part of their money they are getting in or the services, but the consumer doesn't have to charge. That's the reason zero P is very much possible.
It is fair. I think this is a question to both of you. How does this align with the global trends, like the payments? Or do you think it could influence other markets as well? Is this based on experience from other markets? What we're trying to achieve here, trying to remove the barrier at trade stores?
India has got 5 times more population than Indonesia, and UPI is a very successful model wherein we have seen lots of success. In fact, India has also launched Jan Dhan Yojana, which converting thoughts to bank accounts, right? So, started from there, but ultimately UPI is one thing similar what Rajiv and this startup wants to do. I don't see any reason that would not be successful with the shares there. So then you don't need to tell anyone who wants to transfer your money, your mobile. You just send their mobile number, that becomes a bank account and it comes here. That's how India works. And as you use what HF for the aspect.
Yeah, actually, this Indonesian context is very, very interesting because customers are already being charged and customers are paying for it. So when you're actually saying that customer doesn't need to pay anymore, adoption would be very natural. So every Indonesian, when they know they don't need to pay for any payment to the merchant infrastructure, there will be a big adoption. I mean, that's the success we like to experience as we make further work this one here. Other thing to this technology is homegrown. Actually, have been built in Indonesia, has been in experience in Indonesia, and in deploying in Indonesia. So we actually see after our first milestone of acquiring converting of these 3 million Indosat customers, this technology can be deployed anywhere else in the world. That's the way we are looking at. This would be probably the first homegrown Indonesian technology going forward. That's our station.
Other thing which I want to just share a little bit of my understanding with this. As I said, we have about 270 cover retail outlets. And I keep on distinct from northern Indonesia to south, east to west. Wherever I go, there are many locations wherein the banks and ATMs are not there and it produces tea for it. And the retailers, they have a chart wherein they say, top up the e-wallet, and for every top up which they do, and they're not charged anything from those top up companies, and they charge some fee for every top up. So what Rajiv was saying, that if you can tell our consumers that you're not supposed to pay any more for your services, just imagine that money that you into the economy. Because that money is being siphoned off by some unauthorized users. And we have got around 40,000 retail outlets out of 270,000. They're doing bank transfers and top-ups, and they are charging based on the amount which they're transferring. So, for example, 1 billion rupiah, 10,000 rupiah, they charge, but 2 billion above they charge 20,000, and 1 million above they charge 25,000 rupiah. Actually, they're not paying anything to any of operators, but customers are using that money which can flow into our Nike ecosystem, which can into the poly.
I mean, it's a very simple concept, actually. You don't have to pay for transfers and stuff. I'm actually still wondering why this is easy to grasp. Do you think this is an infrastructure thing? Is a technology question? Is this why your partnership will have competitive advantage with the others in the space, because it is a practice space?
I don't think so it's a technology, so I think it's a acceptation, I would say. Our 99%, 99.5% revenues comes from data. That means everybody is using a smartphone. That means everybody has got some digital products they are using. Otherwise, how a Indosat company with $3.56 billion US business, 99% is coming from data. Without smartphones, the adoption is there. Everybody is having 5 apps into their system. They stream on it, either to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook Messenger, on YouTube. So these 5 or WhatsApp. So these are 5 key species there on opposite the every phone. So adoption is not a problem. Digital service. It's just that we have to create an ecosystem like Sitada Pay, what is saying, if Indepay, which is customers are aware that they can do the transaction on their own. So digital literacy is there, but telling the consumers specifically for this kind of use cases is one important. It's our responsibility as a company to actually help consumers at authenticate speak transfer.
You want to add to that?
I think people actually got used to pay a fee when they have a situation. So there was nobody before us actually went to the consumer and saying that even if they use a different experience. That's the reason actually we started with Indosat. Today if you go to my Clear or Dima, actually you can see no need to pay. That's the first that actually you achieve today.
I'll give you one more example. So, as a telco perspective, we have bought a product for 10,000 rupiah 2 weeks ago. You pay 10,000 rupiah, you get Cougar. I've just given an example. If you want to buy that product in Indonesia, or in Jakarta, you will end up taking 10,000 rupiah, somebody will charge it 1,000 rupiah. You go to Punjab passing, he is supposed to pay 1,000 rupiah. From Punjab, and you go to Balikpapan, there is some remote location, there you can reach only through boat. Is no road. I was there, and retailers were charging 40,000 rupiah for the same product. Actually, those customers are supposed to pay lesser because the per capita income in those locations are much lower in Jakarta. But Jakarta, everybody is literate. Competition is huge. They can buy from next retailers. So as a company, it is our responsibility to teach customers and make things available. And what we are doing through our IA3 application and our Bima Plus application, adoption is going very fast. 3 years back, we used to have 12 million app, and now we have about 50 million ad users. And those 50 million ad users are paying exactly what they are supposed to pay. And now earlier, my business through digital channels was, revenue was 80%. Now 54% of our revenues are coming from digital channels. That means those customers are happy because they are paying exactly what they are supposed to pay. The same thing has to happen in financial sector. The more adoption of applications, more adoption of digital pay ecosystem will actually empower everyone that are.
These are great insights for you too. I kind of want to touch on the other side of the coin. Like obviously, the proposition is enticing if the barrier of entries are already. On the other hand, we need to build trust in the product itself, and it is a key pillar of digital payments. That's how you get your hustle. In that regard, how do you think it reassure users about that state security or data privacy, while offering all these seamless transactions?
Yeah, actually one of our clients is security. So, today what you have done is that, today if you look into the bank as well as any other service provider other than the bank is always trusted. Because people actually have trusted the bank, keeping the money with the bank, and withdraw the money whenever they feel that people at the bank. So in our user's journey, what we have done is that we kept the process very simple and make a bank responsible for approving the transaction. If you look into the other method of payment, customer need to remember a PIN, they need to put the PIN, and the transaction goes through. In our case, actually, bank sends a one-time password, and customer actually just put that unique password, then only the transaction goes through. That means the responsibility is with the bank, not with us. And when the customer knows about it, they will be always trusting the bank instead of a new service provider like us. And that also helps the customer to keep the Indosat number. Because using the partnership will be very deep, and we will take it forward the big curve. Because the security is very important. And second thing is like we are the only payment method where every single transaction is actually mapped to the individual customer who is carrying the Indosat number. That means for any sort of a fraud or any sort of a issues with the country interacting today,
To keep on demonstrating that we are the custodian of their data, and also now also the financial transaction. But now the world is moving towards AI level. Sometimes this personalization becomes too personal. People start thinking, "Oh my God, what is happening?" So companies knows too many things about us. So we need to be responsible enough to not invade customers' choices as much that contextual marketing sometimes becomes as a mean for customer to understand this company who's everything about us. But there has to be delicate and fun times which to be played and keep on telling consumers about.
That's that answers the question. But if we look at current business right around the technological distortion, the area obviously everyone kind of has an opinion on that, and it's one of those things that like credit card, not necessarily everyone ascribes to it or trust community. Whereas, as far as I understand, there is some use of AI in the pay. So, how do you explain this? What role does technology like AI played or ensured security?
see, AI primarily is the way I look at it is a pattern. You need to look at the pattern and then keep on capturing the pattern for seeing that how the next transaction happening was in the pattern or not. So what you do is like, because customer gives a consent to us, like, okay, you can track that transaction details, can be become like a ID, because it's an ID based payment we are doing here based on a by number. So with that ID, whatever transaction he does in various ecosystem member that Indosat or e-commerce or social media, we know what is the pattern is like. So whenever he actually does not follow the pattern, there is something he can recognize the system as done something which is not desired to happen. That actually helps us to identify the fraudulent transaction. And that way he can actually block it. And then he can save the customers challenges in the process. That's one way of looking at it. Other way actually, one of the plan we actually be talking about is like every single transaction will be rewarding for the customer. That means every single transaction customer will get something what he does not get in any other transaction. Whether it can be a better data from Indosat or maybe a discount from FMB in FMB transaction, or maybe a special value from OTT service provider, you have a partnership with you here. So something will come as a special benefit to the customer. It actually building up a recommendation engine based on the customer data, so that we identify which customers should get what, and we actually try to push that benefit to the customer using a special engine which I put it together in the background.
I think technology can be used in a. I'll just take you 2 years back what was happening, and it has happened with our Indosat stores also. Some of the customers, they're complaining that their SIM card is getting replaced, and the OTP is being generated on that, and the money has been siphoned off, right? So many companies are family. So what we are trying to use is technology wherein IPification. So we have a phone, the device is been attached to your IMSI number is Dubai number. If it is not matching, the OTP will not get generated, you will not go there. So device document, there are many technology which are coming. That's where AI needs to be deployed. And I think it has to be responsible uses of AI. All of us should embrace. And as I was a bit, other day I was talking to my wife about some jewelry brand. And immediately on one WhatsApp page, the jewelry brand started setting lots of glasses. I was at serious. Oh my God, I have to buy something. So, and then I was feeling, oh my God, this ecosystem and this ecosystem, somebody is listening, right? Somebody is listening to us. and it makes us more scared. First, my credit card will be swiped by my wife will buy something. The second one is you are scared that sometimes without putting anything on Google, you are just talking, and within 1 hour, you are getting feeds on your Facebook or Instagram about that product. That is why you're saying we have to be responsible enough to not invade in consumer PVC. That's where the trust will start coming in, and that requires lots of things we need to let go as a technology company. And number two, responsible use of AI is the most important thing.
Very good. There is the case to argue that it is only through these kinds of connectivity, for lack of a better word, I think sharing of systems of infrastructure is how you build your database, you build data points for companies to use and improve their businesses and all that. But again, as you said, responsibility to the user, the support. It just seems to me that there's a wide range of customers, users. On the one hand, they may not even think about things. They may be, sub-workling that their phones are high on them. The other hand, others are well-versed in, trading on mobile, all transactions, crypto. A lot of savvy there on the other end spectrum. So if I had to kind of, kind of bow, I suppose, if you could, describe what the ideal experience for a user that will derive from this kind of partnership between Indepay and telcos like Indosat. How would you describe that? What is the ideal use? What will the consumer experience be like? Let's say next year, just deriving from this collaboration.
Yeah. For me, success would be every Indosat customers are using this technology, and that will save us sacred lots of money. P2P transfer happening to mobile, and no need to go to a retail outlet or third party to make sure you do not. You also it's also peace of mind that I want to transfer money to Rajiv. I can do it using my mobile. I don't need to tell him my PayPal number or debit card number. Just the mobile number, and things are being done. That's how we define this as a success, and more users have used. So we'll work towards that. So for us, that is what it was said. That's a success.
Yeah, actually, our success definitely starts with Indosat. So we will be very, very happy if 50 million on the Indosat customers will already digital in Bima L2S in 19. Actually become like a bank account. That's the first success we activate. And then today, as I understand that, almost around a very large part of those transactions actually happening in cash. So when we did a study with Indosat customer base, we found that payment is happening in cash, purchase is happening there. So we just wanted to convert those payment transaction digital, so the customer does not need to go to the ATM and pick up cash or give additional bill to the retailer and whatever extra amount. Entire transaction should happen in digital format. That's the first success. And second thing, actually, we are doing a lot of partnerships in the market. We actually very lot of small merchants in social media. We actually also have very good partnership with OTT products. We have View. A large part of the View customers actually are in Indonesia. So we also have partnership with FUD restaurants, e-commerce. We want those customers who have been adopted digital payment and digital commerce in Indosat ecosystem goes outside the Indosat ecosystem, whether it is an e-commerce, whether it is FUD transaction, whether it is offline transactions. Our success story is like one transaction in Indosat and 9 transactions outside Indosat. That's the success story. That will actually make the whole relationship very, very deep. That's the way we are looking at it.
Okay, thank you. So I think those were great insights from you. I think we're going to open up to the floor very soon. But before I do, I think just one more question for everyone here. You're placed the trail by partner. So if you would have something to say for the startups that were looking to kind of break into the space, what would you say to this? Is both.
So I think, in my view, we should start from consumer and end with consumers. So any startup should find out the real life problem of people on ground. And Indonesia is not Jakarta, and Jakarta is not Indonesia. So the real problem is if you're able to solve the last mile at the remotest of the location, that's when I will define as success. But any startup, they should go and pick it up, the real life problem, and try to solve that. So that's the only advice which I give. Okay? Good.
Yeah. Actually, it's a very, very important question, and thank you so much for asking this. When you define startup, right, startups are in the business of taking risks. But for a startup to work with a very, very iconic brand and very established operator like Indosat, Indosat is not in the business of taking risks. Banks are not the business of taking risks. For a startup to work with an established brand, it's a very, very long journey to understand how do you balance between risk takers and not so risk takers. That's the learning actually we have been, going to the journey myself with my team sitting here. So how the startup can work with established brand, that's the learning, and that's something I think we are developed a lot of expertise in the recent past. And that's something we try to, take it forward, because my experience, though I have worked with very large companies, but being a startup, working with large companies is a very big different.
Yes, I would like to end. Sorry, I'm just taking one more minute. The startup should be focusing on creating value, not on value creation. Valuation is a creation of value creation, not as a valuation. So any startup which is focusing on valuation, first 3-4 years will be good, but after it vision. But any startup which is focusing on creating value is going to be successful forever.
Thank you so much. Yeah. You guys wanted that?
Thank you. I mean, good learning. The send is of. Do you agree? Or yeah, we have to practice our very well, right? So basically, we need to also create graduation as well as validation and all this.
So we at Indosat also, when we launch any product, we always focus on creating value, because we have a very capex oriented industry, and everything which we launch we see as a startup. A team is any mindset of startup. So there are many team members sitting here, they are coming from startups, and most of them have this mindset. And only thing is, I keep on telling them that you are working in a company which is allowing you to work as a startup, but you are 100% sure that 25th of every month you are going to get salary. So that's the mindset we work on. But I think it is important, again I'm repeating, if you are creating the value for the consumers, then you do it that way.
Thank you so much. So that's a big lesson to learn, especially when you talk about financial inclusion, which is the main kind of idea behind all of this, right? So thank you so much for both of your insights.